Welcome to the SUNY Child Protection Policies training. This is Module 5, Child Protection Policy, Policy Terms Defined. In this section, we will review the definitions used in the Child Protection Policy. The Child Protection Policy contains specific, defined terms. The definitions used in the policy are the operative definitions for compliance with the policy, despite any campus definitions of the same or similar terms. The definitions are contained in Section C of the policy, which we will now review. Definition of a child. The policy defines a child as an individual under the age of 17 years old who is participating in a covered activity. The term child shall not include a matriculated student of the university or a person accepted for matriculation. This slide provides a graphic explanation of the definition of child. If a child is under 17 but not matriculated as a student, and not accepted for matriculation, and they participate in a covered activity, they are a child for purposes of the Child Protection Policy. The policy distinguishes among children under 17 based upon their matriculation status as defined in the policy. In other words, the policy applies to children under 17 participating in a covered activity, but it does not apply to children under 17 who are matriculated. The Child Protection Policy defines matriculation with its ordinary dictionary definition: to enroll as a member of a body and especially of a college or university. More specifically, under this policy, a child is matriculated if they are accepted by the university as a student into an actual college course listed in the academic catalog. Any campus definition of matriculation that differs is not applicable for the purposes of the Child Protection Policy. So what does this mean for students under 17? Here's a graphic representation to further explain. If the child is under 17 years of age and is accepted by the university as a student into a college catalog listed course, that person is not a child within the meaning of the definition of child that's contained in the policy. Therefore, if they are not a child, the policy is not applicable. Let's move to the definition of a university-affiliated organization. The policy defines a university-affiliated organization as the Research Foundation for the State University of New York, Campus Foundation, Campus Alumni Association, Campus Auxiliary Services Corporation, or any other entity so designated by the Chancellor or campus president. This slide provides a graphic representation of the definition of university-affiliated organization. Moving now to the definition of a covered person. A covered person is a person who is responsible for the custody, control, or supervision of children participating in a covered activity and who belongs to one of the following 5 categories. Number 1, an employee of the university or university-affiliated organization. Number 2, a university student. Number 3, a volunteer of the university or university-affiliated organization. Number 4, a vendor, licensee, or permittee, or other person who is given permission to come onto campus or to use university facilities for covered activities. And number 5, an employee, agent, or volunteer of number 4 above. This slide provides a graphic representation of the definition of covered person. A person is a covered person under the policy when they are responsible for the custody, control, or supervision of children participating in the covered activity, and they are also a member of one of the 5 described categories of individuals that are shown here in the 5 boxes in the center of this slide. The definition of a covered activity. is a program or activity sponsored or approved by the university or a university-affiliated organization, or an activity conducted by a vendor, licensee, or permittee, that is, a third party, for which a license or permit for use of university facilities has been approved, occurring on or off campus, for the duration of which the responsibility for custody, control, and supervision of the children is vested in the university-affiliated organization, or in the approved vendor, licensee, or permittee. An activity is only covered if it meets the two-part policy definition. Number one, it is sponsored or approved by the university, a university-affiliated organization, or by a third-party vendor, licensee, or permittee to whom a revocable permit for use of university facilities has been issued. And number two, for the duration of the activity, the custody, control, and supervision of the children is vested in that university-affiliated organization, or that approved third party. So an activity is only covered if it meets both parts of the definition. And here's a graphic representation of the definition of covered activity. This is a test that can be used to determine whether an activity is covered or not. On the left, you see that the activity or program must first involve children. Please keep in mind the definition of child when making this assessment. Also on the left, if the activity involves children, was it sponsored or approved by any of the entities listed in the two boxes shown at the center of the slide? If the entities listed in these boxes have overall responsibility for custody, control, and supervision of the children, then the activity is a covered activity to which the child protection policy applies. Note that the phrase custody, control, and supervision is part of the definition of covered activity. Let's examine the meaning of this phrase. Custody, control, and supervision means that a parent or a legal guardian has placed the child in the care of the university affiliate, or the third party who is using university facilities for a duration of time and for a specific covered activity. It means that the university affiliate, or the third party is exercising its own authority to guide, manage, and supervise the child in the place of the parent or legal guardian. This decision tree is another useful tool that you may use to determine whether an activity is a covered activity to which the policy applies. If you have any questions, of course, you should always contact your campus counsel. Here are some examples of custody, control, and supervision and when this threshold is met. Let's look at children attending a sporting event with a parent or a legal guardian. Is this a covered activity? No. The custody, control, and supervision remains with the parent or guardian, so it is not a covered activity under the child protection policy. What about children attending a university-sponsored event with their parent or guardian? No, because again, the custody, control, and supervision threshold is not met. The parents still retain custody, control, and supervision of the child. They have not relinquished that responsibility to the university, a university affiliate, or to an approved third party. What about children attending a sports camp where they are transported to the campus by bus? Yes. In this case, at a sports camp where the children are taken by bus to the activity, the custody and control and supervision of the children has been transferred to the camp operator. There is an exception to the definition of covered activity that is made for campus daycare centers. The child protection policy is not applicable to university child daycare centers. Daycare providers are heavily regulated by New York state law. Many campuses have local policies and procedures in place for their daycare centers, and in writing procedures to implement the child protection policy, campuses should consider whether to coordinate or integrate any related local policies. And this is just a review of the covered activity decision tree. This will be posted on the child protection page of the SUNY compliance website should you wish to refer back. This concludes my